Hello everyone, welcome back to Summer Eigo, the place where you can learn some Eigo while you're at home. And as you can see, I'm also at home today. Yes, I have finally started 在宅勤務ですね. Alright, today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to focus on any content from any textbook. However, the inspiration for today's video did come from the Ninensei transfer textbook. And on page 10 in Unit 2, it asks the question, what music have you listened to recently? So I thought I would talk about some of the music I have been listening to in the past few weeks. So let's get started. As you can see behind me, there are many soft toys, and many of those soft toys are of video game characters. Yes, I love my video games. I'm what you'd call in Japanese a game otaku. 申し訳ないですね. But that's just who I am, and I love playing video games in Japanese, especially because it helps me with my Japanese study. And I not just only enjoy playing games, I also love listening to the BGM, background music in video games. So today I would like to introduce to you the soundtracks, the albums of 4 video games I've been playing recently. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first album I'd like to introduce to you today is from the game called Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk is available on the PlayStation 4, on Nintendo Switch, and also on PC if you have a computer at home. And when I pre-ordered this game, it came with a pre-order bonus. You say なんだっけ in Japanese なんだっけ予約特典. So the soundtrack on 2 CDs came as a bonus when I pre-ordered this game. In this game, you are a barista, so you work in a cafe and you serve tea or coffee to your customers. And while you serve them drinks, you overhear their conversations. Maybe they're having problems with their boyfriend or girlfriend. Maybe they're fighting with their parents. Maybe they're stressed because they have too much overtime zangyo at work. So it's a really unique concept for a game, and it's available. The Japanese version has the English as well as Japanese, so if you're interested, it could be fun English study for you. But coming back to the soundtrack, this is lo-fi music, so it's very relaxing music that you can chill out to. It's great music to listen to when you're sitting on a sofa, or when you're studying, or when you are reading a book, or of course when you're drinking a tea or a coffee. So I'll put the link in the description below so you can listen to this album via YouTube and or Spotify. The second game soundtrack I'd like to introduce is from the game called Valhalla. And Valhalla is available on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo Switch, and PC. And like with Coffee Talk, each version of the game, came with the soundtrack as a pre-order bonus. But as you can see, these soundtracks are different. So they contain music from the game, but not the exact same tracks, not the exact same tunes. So I like to alternate listening to both soundtracks because they have different music on them. The music on these albums is very different from Coffee Talk. This music's a lot more uplifting, a lot more energetic. It's music that makes you feel more genki, and it's more dance kind of music, more electronic. So it's great music to listen to while you're working out or going for a bike ride or something. So I often listen to these soundtracks when I'm on my exercise bike at home. And I not only, actually, I love the music from this game so much that I also purchased the LP, the vinyl, the record for the soundtrack for Valhalla. And this was a special order from Europe. So it took a long time to be delivered from Europe to Japan. And this was a limited edition, Gente. So it came with special versions of the vinyl. So I'll show you. That's the first disc, first vinyl, first LP of the album. And this is the second one. So this is really cool to listen to, and listening to LPs, to vinyls, to records really gives you a different feel for the music because it's a different quality. The recording is of a different quality. So if you've never listened to vinyl music before, you can always go to the likes of Hard Off in Ueda and buy some cheap records and try listening to them at home if you have a record player. Okay, next. So I forgot to mention, in the game Valhalla, actually this is probably a better one to look at. As you can see from the picture, in this game you're a bartender. So you work in a bar and you serve alcohol or cocktails to your customers. And depending on what alcohol or cocktail you serve to the customer, they may like you more and may tell you more information about their lives. And that influences how the game ends. So your choices, the choices you make on the drinks you serve the customers will influence how the game will progress and how it will end. So that's another cool game to check out. Of course, you can see footage of this game, gameplay from this game on YouTube. You can watch videos, and I'll include the links in the description below for the soundtrack that you can listen to on YouTube or Spotify. Okay, the third soundtrack I'd like to introduce to you is from that game called, it's very long, 十三機兵防衛圏. The English name is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. And in this game, there are 13 high school students, and they are pilots of giant mech warriors, giant robots like Gundam. And you have to fight these invaders, Shinrakusha, from space. But it's an amazing plot, There's a hidden conspiracy, kakusareta inbo, in this game. And I don't want to say anything because maybe some of you will play it one day. But it's definitely worth checking out. It is an amazing game. And what makes this game even better is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is across 4 CDs. It's a huge, huge soundtrack. And this soundtrack makes me feel all different kinds of emotions. There are very slow classical songs on this soundtrack which are really moving, and there are very high tempo, upbeat electronic songs which give me lots of energy. And sometimes some of the songs combine the classical music with the electronic music, and it just blows my mind. I'll include the link to this soundtrack in the description below. If you have a chance, please listen to it and please play the game because it is fantastic. All right, the final game soundtrack I'd like to introduce to you today is from, where did I put it? The remake of an old game, and this game is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this game, the original version of this game, came out in 1997. Let me just find this. Here we go. Okay. This is from a Dengeki PlayStation magazine. So the original game came out in 1997, and they just recently released the new version of the same game this month, earlier in April. And I first played this game at my neighbor's house in 1998. So I would have been in year 8. So Chuni. I was Chuni Nensei. And this game was my first Final Fantasy game. And I'd never played a game like this before. And the gameplay and the music just captivated me. Captivated me. And I've always been a big fan of this game ever since then. And when I came to Japan, I bought the soundtrack for the original game. And sometimes I enjoy listening to it. But because they recently released the new version of the game called Remake, I've been listening to the mini soundtrack that came with the digital copy of this game. And just show you a couple of pictures, because maybe some of you have seen these characters before, but you don't know what game they are from. Anyway, so the digital copy of this game came with a small mini soundtrack, and I've been listening to it a lot. And I'll teach you some English slang. This soundtrack gives me the feels. Gives me the feels means something makes you very emotional or makes you have a very deep emotional experience. So you can say, oh, this song gives me the feels. Or that scene from the movie gave me the feels. Or maybe you're hearing a song and you can just say, oh my God, the feels, the feels. Anyway, the soundtrack for this game gives me the feels because すごい懐かしい. It brings back so many memories for me, and it makes me feel like I've been moved, transported back to my childhood. I feel like I'm in junior high school again. They've remade the songs, so they sound very familiar but slightly different. And in my opinion, the updated version of the songs for Remake sound even better than the original. And yeah, I've been listening to this mini soundtrack again and again. Because it's only a mini soundtrack, not the whole soundtrack, I've been listening to the other songs not included on the soundtrack on YouTube. And next month, in late May, the makers of this game, Square Enix, they will be releasing the soundtrack 4 CDs, I think, on their online store. So I'll be definitely purchasing that because it's just incredible music. And like the other 3 games and the soundtracks I've introduced today, I will put the link in the description below so you can enjoy listening to this soundtrack. And please play the game. If you have a PlayStation 4, you must play this game. Meirei desu yo. Shirei Meirei, you must play this game. It is amazing. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about my 4 favorite game soundtracks that I've been listening to recently. I hope it's been a good listening experience for you. I used a lot of maybe complicated phrases in English in this video, so please don't worry if you couldn't understand everything. Sometimes I got a bit too excited and I couldn't control myself in the language I was using. But I also recommend many of these videos you will be able to watch the videos with automatic subtitles that YouTube creates. So I always recommend watching a video more than once to improve your listening comprehension, and first try to watch the video with subtitles, and then on the second or third time try to take away the subtitles and just focus on listening to the words I'm saying or Chelsea's saying in our videos that we upload to the Summer Eigo channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a good start to your Golden Week. I will probably upload another video tomorrow. It will also be about songs, but a different kind of song. All right, thanks so much for joining me. See you next time. Ja ne.